little sucker.
What dancing?
So much HP.
They do.
Mark might have like 3 damage too. I don't know what he's taking.
Mark's a pacifist.
Yep, he's doing pacifist run.
Yeah. I have 3 damage, but I'm the only one alive.
He does such little damage, the enemies aren't even aware that he's in the room.
That explains my dating life.
There you go. You get bad RNG in your dating life?
I do, man. I gotta go for the numbers. Gotta grind that out.
Wait, I was gonna say let's avoid. I killed. Let's not get fistula. Let's try to get these Greek guys.
Yeah. Thankfully, there's been a new update. You know, pay to win. Oh, almost damage free on that one. Walking spiders.
You got 26 big boy bombs too now.
Oh.
You should use them. That's
There we
what I'm
go.
talking.
So much money.
Because that's exactly
Get
what
yourself
we
a
need.
full health. Oh, a fool card.
Dang.
No, nobody. My guess is it's the long way.
Yeah, it's always a long way.
Oh,
Luckily, this room will just put you out of your misery.
that was
There
the
was
one,
no way out of
everybody.
that. There's nothing we could do.
Yeah. That was the one.
Good shit.
Hey, plus Mark, what do you think, Eli? What do you think of
I like it. It's flown.
3 more days, and you can play with everybody in the chat room.
Yeah, quick
If you're in the chat
match.
room right now, are you going to be joining the everybody playing online? You're going to be doing a quick match? You're going to be doing friend match? What are you going to be doing?
Yeah. And are you gonna release the beta on Twitter or X?
Yeah, so we'll have X going to give it to you. It's going to give you the beta. No, we will have a post that Alex and I have been working on for the Steam Dev blog, and it'll have all the information, including the opt-in password there. But
Sweet.
I'll also just straight up post the password and a link to the post on my Twitter.
It's also probably a good time for a new newsletter as well.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of. I think this. Hopefully, we can get a lot of concurrent players going together in quick match. 'Cause it's going to be super fun. I hope that it's not just people playing friend match, because it's pretty neat to be able to just play with random players and figure out how to communicate. Like you were talking about earlier, Alex, how we were playing last night, and we intentionally didn't use voice chat, and it was pretty fun to figure out how we could communicate with each other.
Yeah, the wiggles.
Plus, then you can, if you die, you can blame the randoms on the skill issue.
Levka wants to know if there'll be a limited amount of people who can enter the beta password. To my knowledge, there's no limit with Steam. So once we post that, then we'll then you'll be able to just join and enjoy the game.
And
It will be
repentance only, right?
What's that?
Is this repentance only?
Repentance only. Yep. So you need repentance. That's a great question. For anybody watching, listening, you'll need to have repentance fully updated. But then it's a free update, and it's going to be awesome. And for anybody wondering right now, the voice chat we're just using Discord. We've set up a private chat room to talk, but we use Skype before. Actually, I think right now we're using Skype.
We are in Skype.
Yeah, you usually use Discord, but Mark doesn't like Discord. He says it's it belongs to Satan. So he prefers to use Skype and IRQ. ICQ.
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 Yeah,
And
virtual
AOL,
man. It's like
instant messenger.
MySpace me, and then we'll get on the Skype, and then
You can dial me
a
up on the
video game.
CompuServe. If you haven't heard of CompuServe, you can just look at it on Wikipedia.
Ask your grandpa.
Yeah, literally ask your grandpa, who's probably like 50. Any other questions from the chat room that we can try to field before we call it a night of streaming? Bish Casual still on dial-up. Dial-up number 1. You can hear the...
Yeah. Mom, you picked up the phone, and I lost my Diablo game.
I know. That was like when I used to play X-Band on Sega Genesis. And Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo had a modem you could attach to be able to play like Madden and Street Fighter on the internet.
Oh, really?
Red Team Gone wants to know about crossplay. Right now, we are just focused on getting this thing stable for Steam. So our main focus into the foreseeable future will be to make this experience super awesome and super stable and as close to perfect as possible. There's a lot of missing game features that we would like to add in the future. Like right now, you won't be able to play. I believe hard mode doesn't work, right, Alex? Or
correct.
Yeah, greed mode doesn't work.
Mode.
So I've said it on Twitter, but this is a true beta. So you are getting a true look into the game and into seeing this portion of the game in development. So it's not what I call a marketing beta where you have big companies saying that 3 days before it's out you can be part of the beta. That's not really beta. The game's done. They're just hyping up the game, and that's fine. That's a thing that they can do. But in this case,
imagine Isaac. Generally, right? You can imagine Isaac generally. There's only a handful of us working on it, and there's so many permutations of item combinations or things that you can't possibly test them all.
Yeah.
So getting this out to the public is like, we'll find things we never thought of or just didn't have, the resources to try every item combination and see if something breaks. So that's...
Yeah, and also what's important is we want to see what everyone out there likes and what they don't like. Like if we find that, hey, they do like friend matches, and it would be cool to have this feature for friend matches, or this feature, to have a password for the lobbies, whatever it is. We want to see what the players do and what they like, or maybe we find like they really actually enjoy quick matches, and we need to
make those more robust.
Yeah, make more robust and put more features into that. So it's a true beta, and yeah, thank you, Bish. It's where the team's been really kicking ass on this thing for quite a bit of time now. So
I can't wait to see Bob's Brain in multiplayer.
Oh my gosh. There used to be a
Curse of the Tower.
There used to be what I called the Tyrone weapon combo, and it was, what was it? Dr. Fetus, Spy, Quad Shot, Soy Milk, and Ipecac.
Ipecac, yeah.
And oh my gosh, that was, I think Vin changed it, so it's less explosive, no pun intended, but man, that combo in multiplayer, you would just annihilate, like you would just kill your teammates. What's up, Dark Potato? So there'll be some fun things that, yeah, like even Ipecac in multiplayer, you get Ipecac, you get somebody who's like, I really like Ipecac, like, oof, that's gonna be a hilarious time.
We had that run where, was it yesterday, where John had the brown cap and blue baby, so he was spawning an explosive poop every room.
Yeah. It's just, and you had to he was like stepping on a landmine, or a landmine, just appearing, manifesting. Yeah. So that's what you, all of you, will be seeing in less than 72 hours. But I'm super excited. I know that I'm going to be joining a lot of random matches. Buenos dias. I'll be probably joining a lot of random matches. Alex will, some of the guys will, but we'll also be watching a lot of you play, whoever's streaming, because we want to see how people play. We've talked about a friendly fire toggle. That would be pretty cool in the future. We just have to figure out how it works. And like I said, if you have an attack, like even just think about Brimstone with like Spoonbender or something, or Mega Blast, like friendly fire, like it could turn in, it could be disastrous, because sometimes, especially later on in the game, when you've got these crazy weapon combos and there's 4 of you or 3 of you, or however many, like it's almost like the Ghostbusters. You're gonna have to make sure you don't cross streams, and you're gonna end up having to stay on one side. But it would be super fun anyway, like especially for 2-player, you get 2 guys who are really good at the game, and they turn on friendly fire and they get through the whole game and they beat Hush. That would be a pretty amazing thing to watch.
Yeah.
Or you get Edmund, who picks up Brimstone, then dies immediately.
Yeah, or he's like, I gotta go. Anyway, enjoy the run.
Go. It's like,
One of the things that will be nice too is we'll include instructions for how to submit bug reports or that kind of stuff, which will be super helpful for us in getting everyone's opinion or seeing what everybody runs into. And
yeah, like I saw something today when we jokingly kicked out John. He just came right back in, so we're gonna need a kick and a ban eventually, and then also add a cooldown time to the kick, right?
But yeah, at least for the run.
Yeah, well, I guess if you get kicked, the main thing is, like, if you get kicked on early in a floor, you miss that whole floor because you can't come back until that whole floor. Yeah,
I think technically, right, if you're playing quick match and you go to quick match again, you'll probably get put in a different game. This would be friends, so you do have to be friends with the people. So
was that a friend match today, or was it a quick match today? I don't remember which one we did.
It's a friend match.
Is there difficulty scaling like when enemies spawn? Right now, there's no difficulty scaling. We really wanted to treat online just like right now the local co-op where you just join. And it right now it doesn't require too much damage or difficulty scaling, because the way that the game was designed, the enemies were designed, the bosses were designed, the rooms were created, it was intended primarily as a single player game. So there's situations where it could be easier with one person versus 4, even though you're getting all those items.
I mean, think of it this way, right? How many hours do we all have collective? I have like many thousands of hours in Isaac. Always play on hard, do tainted lost streaks. We're dying on normal difficulty runs here.
Yeah.
And there's no lag. There's nothing. How do I put it? There's nothing causing us to die. Like there's no extraordinary circumstances. We're just dying, like you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Bish mentioned like the idea of what's that, Mark?
Oh, it's just like creep we didn't see.
Oh yeah, it's creep we didn't see, and we're just having and I really find when I'm playing with everybody, I'm paying attention and I'm having a good time, but it's a different kind of fun. So I'm really not paying as much attention as I should, like I would if I was playing by myself, because I'm counting on the rest of the team to carry part of the load. Bish mentions right now the idea of being able to help friends learn how to play and get them into, like, that's going to be a big part of it, because what I tell people to this day 10 years later is Isaac is kind of not that fun for a new player that first hour and a half, until you really figure out the mechanics and you figure out the physics of the game, the firing. It's not too common to play a modern game now where the first enemies that you're fighting, you aren't able to kill them with one shot. And a lot of the enemies on the first floor in Isaac, you need multiple shots to kill them. So to be able to play and start a run with somebody who's never played before and get on chat and say like, hey, do this and this, it's going to be a ton of fun for people. Red Team Gone wants to know about how will co-op work with unlocks and achievements. So we've it's a little complex, but the short version is your achievements and unlocks will work as long as you start a run together. If I have like a 1,000,000,000% complete file and you join mine halfway through my run, you'll get a little icon that shows you're not getting achievements. You will be able to enjoy the game and see some stuff that you haven't been able to see before, and pick things up that you haven't before, but those won't get unlocked. However, if you start the run with another player at the same time, the unlock system defaults to the lowest common denominator, or the lowest save file, so you will be able to unlock what you need, or new unlocks and achievements.
Yep, absolutely. If there's those like really hard achievements that you can't seem to get, and you have an amazing player who could come in as a ringer, they can help you earn those achievements.
Mm-hmm. Even something as simple as just needing help with certain bosses, or just getting by with things that are trying to go diagonally on a set of spikes where Mark keeps getting hit, and then you have somebody else get by there, or Mark uses Azazel, or you use Azazel as your character, so you can learn the game if you've already unlocked that character, and then you have somebody else that can carry you a little bit.
And they can teach you how to troll and take the flying items.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like using Butterbean to like fart items away from people, or
push bombs into them.
Yeah.
Man, I had a good time with Butterbean yesterday, and today was today Learn How to Jump? Was that the one I was using today a lot? Or was that last night?
I think it was last night.
Shoot the whoop in Tammy's head.
Yeah, I kind of default to some of my favorite items. Really are the original items, and a lot of the ones from Rebirth. I just really enjoy those a lot, like the simplicity of them. I love them all, but it's just fun to be able to jump around with Isaac.
Yeah. A lot of the repentance items are amazing, but they're also complicated because you're building on something that's 10 years old and has hundreds of items already, right? So the core ideas have mostly been thought of and implemented.
Yeah.
So yeah, some of those very basic things are just great.
The way that we set up the progression for the DLC, I kind of feel like DLC isn't the right word for Afterbirth Plus and Repentance. It's really more like expansion packs, kind of like for Final Fantasy XI or games like that, or World of Warcraft, where in other games, especially the FPS world and other games, you can buy different DLC packs. If you just want to have the zombie pack or whatever it is that you want, you can get that. But in the case of this, every single expansion builds on the previous ones.
Yeah, it's more transformative than just more content, more levels, or more items.
Oh yeah, it's a little bit more of everything. The game has improved because we've learned and we've seen what people like or what they dislike, and I think the code is quite, especially the newer code. Once we got past Rebirth, the team was really able to get a lot of control behind it. The initial, I wouldn't call it a port, but the rewrite from Flash code, that was just one file for the original game. It was a disaster. Like it was just a huge, so much work. But once we were able to get it into Rebirth, and it was all transferred into C++ in our own code and our own engine, it was a lot more manageable. So yeah, Repentance.
Even just going back and testing the various versions for iOS, it's hard after growing through the entire evolution of the game to be like, oh, I'm going to go back and play Rebirth now.
Well, there's stuff missing.
Afterbirth, it's
like, oh, I can't do this or this, I can't do this. Like, even if you go back and play the Flash version, you can't continue a run. Mm-hmm. Over the course of almost 10 years, there's little things that have constantly, and as we watch all of you play, we'll probably, don't be surprised if for example, like, you see the whole, for example, the pause menu. I was mentioning to Alex earlier today, the online pause menu right now is entirely temporary. We want to make one that's much easier to see when you pause, because the game, unlike single player mode for Isaac, where the logic pauses because it's an online game and we don't want people just pausing everybody else's game. The game continues. So, but right now this giant post-it note appears because it's just it's a temporary piece of art. But later on, we want to be able to have you pause, look at the options, look whatever it is that you need to do in the pause menu, but still at least have a view of the game. Red Team wants to know anything with chat in the game or not. I can probably say this with confidence, there will never be voice chat built into the game just because everybody else does it so well. Like I said, we're on Skype, and Skype's this 50-year-old online software, right? And it still runs fine. But then today we were playing with Edmund in another group, and we were on Discord, and the amount of time it would take to write in good voice code and text code, we can spend that with making the online experience actually better for all of you. So I think that's a pretty fair compromise. We'd rather have somebody else who specializes in voice chat or whatever, and works complementarily with the game do that. As far as other ways to communicate,
Isaac-y things to the table.
What's that?
We can bring more Isaac-y things to the table.
Yeah. You want us to make Isaac-y things. That's a trademarked term right there. But that's what we're good. That's what we're good at. And leave the chats and emojis to Discord and everybody else. Although I would love to have emojis someday. Like we were talking about, it would be pretty useful to be able to say, go up, down, or like if to be able to raise your hand for an item or a thumbs down. Train 13 wants to know, is this a public beta? It will be a public beta this coming Friday. Kirby War wants to know how greed mode is balanced for the beta. It's not currently, because it won't be available on version 1.9.1. But we will be working on getting that in future updates. I love greed mode, so I'm glad you asked. Thank you for asking that. I feel like greed mode was like years ahead of all these vampire genre games you see on iPhone games.
Yeah.
They're so similar to Isaac, whereas like in normal Isaac, you go to the boss and you go to the level. But in greed mode, the level comes to you, so to speak.
Same with the items, right? Instead of it happening to you, you happen to it.
Yep.
You get to draft your own run.
Yep. Yeah, I love greed mode. So hopefully maybe there's an opportunity for it to have a new life as an online, for people to be able to play online together.
Yeah, that would be neat.
Yeah. But if not sure, this is how would unlocks work with Isaac and D6 and stuff. You want to explain it, Alex?
Sure. So specifically, unlocks will only work if you started the run. If you were there from the beginning, you will be able to unlock things as normal. Take all the players who are in a lobby and narrow it down to the lowest common denominator. Whoever has the least progress, that's the run that you're playing on, is with that amount of progress. So you can still unlock things and get help with it.
So for example, like I've got a golden god run, a save file, and you have a 0, you have nothing on your save file, Alex, but we start together.
We will end at Mom because you've never defeated Mom before. So that's where that run will end. The only other caveat there is if you've got like a 1,000,000% file, you can play any of the characters that you've unlocked, right? So you can play as Tainted Lilith with somebody who only has Isaac available. So your characters will still be there for you. Items like Glitched Crown, it's just going to be probably universal. It will impact everybody's run. There's some items that are kind of work team items.
Undefined's a good one.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then for example, we had a run earlier today where one person picked up Infestation 2. Anytime anybody got a kill on a monster, a spider would spawn.
Oh yeah, that was me. That was amazing.
The person who picked that item up dies. Nobody gets it until they come back to life, right? So it strips all of those items away if somebody's dead.
Yeah,
and dice rooms apply to everyone.
Dice rooms apply to everybody. So if you go in there and you get somebody who insists on re-rolling, it's gonna be you're not gonna be happy. But we've re-rolled 2 times in the last 2 days, and the first time it was super awesome.
It was great.
Yeah, it was great. And then the second time we thought it was great, and then it wasn't so good, but it was still super fun. So it brings an unknown variable to a game that is entirely about unknown variables and randomness. So I can't help it to feel like for some players, you're going to get another 9 to 10 years out of playing this way, just because it's so much fun. And there will be new players that you'll be able to play with.
For sure. There's like this element of control that I have over my Isaac games, right? Where I'm like, I want to play a certain way. But then I unlocked everything. I've got 3 complete save files. I play Isaac for sort of zen, right? What else is there for me to do? So this is just awesome to be able to, when I don't feel like there's anything at stake, it's just playing and having fun again.
Train, I answered this question I think earlier before you got in. However, short version is we'll never have voice chat. We're really relying on people to use Skype or Discord, AOL Online, CompuServe, things like that to be able to do voice chat with the game. It works quite well. That's what we're doing right now. And then could you make it so 4 players have to step on the dice in order to make the change happen? We've thought about things like that. But if you're playing with friends, there's a high chance you are going to make a concerted effort to do the right thing. And if you're playing with friends and they don't, it's hilarious. And you know what I mean? It's what would happen if you were playing next to each other in co-op. Obviously, you can't rely on that same kind of social paradigm for quick matches, but that's something you have to accept when you're going in for a quick match. You're like, hey, this is the Wild West. I'm gonna go play raw right now. It's just going in wild.
Seems it's kind of a delicate balance trying to capture that lightning in a bottle, right? Because the chaos is what makes online a lot of fun. So how do we allow for a certain amount of trolling, a certain amount of chaos, and then a certain amount of control so that it doesn't become unfun? And I think some of these areas are where we kind of really thought.
I do like Bish's idea for the reset, at least letting people know you're trying to reset, where like a little R or something appears over their head. So we'll investigate that, because it is a little bit hard to even, like, we were like timing it and we had to talk and like, okay, everybody ready, set, push R. So Alex, you might want to make a note of that.
Like a little charge bar with an R in it or something.
Yeah,
some potential.
Yeah, that would be pretty easy for people to know, at least, that you're kind of requesting to reset. Especially, although if you're, I mean, that's a great feature to add, and just an easy one. But I think if you have somebody who joins in a room, it'll be a good reminder, even so, like, because if there was 3 of us and we see somebody and it says Jeremy waiting, maybe in the heat of the moment we're not paying attention and he's just going to be sitting there waiting for a whole floor. And the most likely time you're going to reset is going to be on the 1st or 2nd floor. I think once you're in the 3rd floor and somebody joins and they're waiting, and you're just going to say, well, I've already got a setup that I like with my items. I like this combo, item combo. So you're just going to have to wait. But yeah, that's a pretty good one. Yeah. You might see that in version 1.9.3 or 4, maybe sooner. You never know. But we will wrap it up for the night. We really appreciate everybody hanging out, everybody having patience with the online beta. I know it feels like forever since we announced it and as we've been teasing it, but it's one of those things that just takes time. We'll do a few more questions. How's balancing going to work when the online player is finished? We don't have an answer yet. We've got to watch all of you play. We've got to see the exploits that you find, the difficulties that you find, what you find easy, what you find difficult, what we didn't anticipate would happen. What about the people who join in the middle of the run? We thought of that. They will get a slightly, what do we call it? They don't get the full benefit of getting all the items. Let's say everybody who's playing, there's a total of 8 items that they would have gotten up until that point. You might get a selection of between 4 to 6 random items.
And they're weighted by pool, so it's kind of like an Eden run. If you come in, you're not completely naked and you start it in on the womb, but you don't have control of what the items we're going to give you are.
Yeah. And I mean, in a way, you really don't have. It's kind of like, let's make a deal, or when you really don't have control over the items you get within some reason when you're playing the game. It's unless you have a way to switch out what's on the pedestal. A lot of times, what you see is what you get. So yeah, but you will get. Initially, we had it so that when you joined to run in the middle of the game, you had nothing, and it was painful for that last person. So we've come up with a way that seems pretty fair. We've done it a couple times, and people join in, and you have something. Wix wants to know, will hard mode online come after the beta? The beta will have an extended beta period, so you'll see it sometime. I wouldn't expect it before the beginning of the new year, but we will do it, and it's one of the things that very high priority for us that we want to add. Yeah, so we will have another stream probably earlier tomorrow when Alex and I wake up. Maybe Mark will join us if he's not doing something illegal. But thanks for hanging out with us. You can find most of us on Twitter. If you have questions, you can send it to the official Nicholas account or directly to mine. But we'll be back tomorrow. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.
Notice how Mark did not deny that he was going to do anything illegal?
Of course he didn't.
Sam?
See? Of course he didn't.
I know
Thanks
what
for hanging
tomorrow
out,
brings.
guys. It's a ton of fun. Bye.
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 Bye, everybody.